Hi guys, welcome back. It's Katz from kkatz Arts. Thank you for tuning in today. Today I am bringing you one of my final projects, so I'm not going to run through the whole spiel. I'm just going to get right into it. I hope you enjoy it. Hi guys, it's Kathy and I wanted to share my project today on GDevelop. GDevelop is a privately owned company based in London in the UK. Created in 2008 as a 2D engine used for computers and mobile platforms such as Windows, Mac, OS, ISOs, and Linux, I believe is how you pronounce it. GDevelop is a 2D engine source, like I mentioned before, which can be used in thousands of different ways, but it's best known for platform designs like moving platforms, similar to Super Mario, 8-bit shooter, which is a side-scroller, isometric, which is a map style, 2D physics, which is like a downhill bike racer, and card games, so matching games. GDevelop is an open source MIT license. It is free, but with a catch. So the MIT license allows the company to be able to basically take your design, like if you've created it in the open source that it is, they are able to profit off of that in long term. So they have all rights and agreements and you have nothing to say with it. If they want to make a game out of it, they will. And the free part of the catch is you are limited to a certain amount of assets or abilities or scripts. And in order to get the full package, you have to create an account or download it. Now, there are features of monthly subscriptions. I did look online for commercial license. The commercial license did lead me to a link in Japanese, which I have no idea. There was no translation, so I'm not too sure exactly what the features of that are. But there is an indie version, which is €2, which is about 306 Canadian. And what it means in regards to packages is every time that you finish your game or you upload a new section, you're allowed 10 of those packages or save points or inputs or different games open at one time, but you're only allowed 10 daily for $2, which I guess is not that bad. And the pro level is €7, which is about 10.69 Canadian, and it allows you 70. As well as getting these subscriptions, you're automatically able to have all those other features that I had mentioned before in regards to more scripting, more assets, and all that kind of stuff. Now, games that have been developed with them are Little Bubs, Hello Earth,
Whoa. Looks like we have the whole place to ourselves, Bub. What game do you want to play? This game, Bub. You're picky. This dude is lucky enough to live far in the future, in a time and explore parts of our planet that he never knew existed. Come up against the wildest creatures on Earth, and use her magical powers to find the missing pieces of her busted-up space pod.
which is a super, super cute game. You need to see the video. I know I showed clips of it, but definitely take a look at that. And then the other game that has been made is Hyperspace Dogs. I really enjoyed this one. This one has very cool graphics and I like the music and of course many more. So we're going to get into the live demo part and I will talk about that in a second. Alright, so this is voiceover time. So this is the main page that comes up when you open it for the first time, your GDevelop. Now it gives you two different options. You have an open project or create a project. So if I go into the open project, or create a project actually, it gives me the different options, the different like platformers or 8-bit, whatever it might be. And along the top you will have starter, examples, and tutorials. So examples will give you more information on how to use scripts or for further enhancements, and then tutorials on each of those things. So I'm just going to go with the first one, and it's the platformer style. And this is what originally comes up, and it's an already existing game. Now, if I wanted to play this out, I would just hit this button up here, and it would process through saying, yes, I'm going to launch it. And then I could go ahead and play the different functions. Bottom here, there is an empty game. And then from there you go into your scenes. So the game setting actually first, properties, and then here is where you would change to the name of your level that you wanted to create. Okay, so once I've added that, I will go to the resolution and I'll change it. Then I go to scene, and this is the platform that comes up, or main interface, and I really had a lot of problems. This is my number one troubleshooting area because I had no idea where to go, and even the tutorials did not help me out. It was all scripted tutorials, and I'm more of a visual person, so I had to go onto YouTube to locate what was happening on the screens. So this is what the main interface, like I said, and I ran into my second problem, and it was basically creating a character, which I do kind of go through right now. Right there I'm showing the sprites and the tiles and that kind of stuff, and this is where you're inputting a new object. I find that that is it's a very clean interface and very easy to navigate, but I wish it was more interactive, that I was able to have like a pop-up go, oh, and this is what I do next. That would have been an easier way of navigating through it. So I am going through here. I do click on the add the animation, and basically that's where you can get one of the scripted spirits, and it's already in the program. So all your assets are already hooked up and ready to go, and you can import other assets once you get a downloaded version or you pay for those versions like I had mentioned before. Then you go into behavior, and in behavior you add the behavior. So basically you're adding that script, and what I'm going to be adding on is the script for this character to be able to run across a surface. Now once I do that and I hit, which I am going to do it, and then I go through it, and it explains like you can adjust how much he can jump up and that kind of stuff, and I will hit apply. Once you do that, you're supposed to have the icons show up of the character, and for some reason it did not do that for me, and I had to do this several times, and I realized that I was doing it correctly, but that's another downfall on having this open source, is that it's very glitchy. So I had to log back out, log back in, and try it over and over and over again. And here's our little finished guy. So basically you just drag on it and drag it in and drop it into the scene wherever you want. Now from there I do try to bring up a sprite or a tile texture so that you can see how to do the grass, and it's basically the same thing. You're opening the object, clicking on it, doing the behavior, saying this is now where I want the character to walk on the platform, and again I get an error and it didn't work. So it's just troubleshooting that and going back in and out. That's the only problem that I had encountered in regards to this. Alright, so here is my grass texture, and on the sides there are little buttons that allow you to expand it across if you need it to have an ongoing, as well as rotate and have it go up and down depending on how you want it done. So I'm just trying to show you the different options here. So you expand it across however you want to do it. Now you can also do control and then click on the object, and that will actually create a duplicate. So if you wanted it more like tiled boxes, similar to what you would get in Mega Man when we did the levels, so kind of like that, it's up to you. Alright, so here is the levels. Now it's very interactive. If you want to delete something, you do not need to go into hierarchy and remove it somewhere else. You just highlight it and hit the delete button and it automatically comes out. Now there are these little blue arrow dots, and basically it allows you to create a border of where you have a moving action character, and you could create the little borders like I'm doing right now of where if it hits that spot, it's going to go back left, and if it hits that spot, it goes back right. And again, you create the icons like it's already pre-listed for you, and you just have to create the behavior for it in your new scene events, and there are scripts for that. So that's basically what I'm doing here. I'm adding in more tile areas because once I ran through it, I realized I needed extra areas so that I was able to jump and complete the different things. Alright, so I'm just going to go through and explain what's happening in regards to the process in my mind. I just wanted to run a quick demo on how the game actually functions, how to use the controllers, the mechanics of moving stuff back and forth, the collection of coins, and again that's a separate script that you have to put in order to collect the coin and add it to the screen events, and it's a very long process, and that for me that was another troubleshooting. I had to watch several videos on it because it's not necessarily very clear in a regular script. So how long did this take me? It took me at least 7 hours to kind of learn and watch tutorials to understand it. And I know that seems excessive because it's pretty straightforward of a concept in terms like I'm not building anything necessarily. But once I was able to get all the scripts and that kind of stuff running, it took about 2.5 to 3 hours in total of putting things in places and then running it through, which that's about to happen right now. So here we go. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed this project actually. It was quite truly enjoyable. I was really shocked with the type of engine and how it was really simple. And I know a lot of the other ones you had to build stuff, and I really like this one. I thought it was really interactive and quite good, except for those troubleshootings. Again, I wish it was more interactive in terms of like how Mega Man was where it popped up and said, okay, now this is where we're going next, and this is what we're doing next. If they had that as a tutorial when you're building something, that would be so fantastic. That would take it to the next level. Would I recommend this? Most definitely. Like I said, very interactive. I think it is a great way for kids or students in general to get their feet wet into something like this, and I think it was a great start for me. Like I said, I enjoyed it. So I gave my examples of what went wrong. What went right was being able to place things where I wanted it. It was so clean, so clear. I love the art style of it. Again, I wish I had the downloaded version or the paid subscription in order to have more access to all the abilities that there possibly was. Now, I was able to show the mechanics of how to run and jump, and again, that's just using the arrow keys, and shift allows you to jump up or jump down, whatever you need to do. As well as the mechanics of having something float back and forth. There was no shooting or enemies in this particular game except those like little squishy things and the little flying things. Again, it was just a scripted compact. I think that's how they had it written. When you hit it, it just kind of like, that's all it does. So that's basically it for the project. I really hope you enjoyed it. And I'm sorry that I've gone over my allotted time of 10 minutes because I wanted to make sure to explain everything and that you were able to see what was happening. Maybe the project needs to be about 15 minutes to 20 minutes. I'm just saying, so thank you once again, and that's it. See you next time.